Tackle Junkies, what's going on, fellas? Right now, I'm supposed to be on the water. I had an issue yesterday with my internet. Long story short, the company I was with could not get it fixed. They told me to switch to cable. So today I had to wait for the cable guy to come out. Who is it?
It's the cable guy.
Get everything all fixed. He just left. Like I said, I should have been on the water like 8 o'clock this morning. It's now like 3 o'clock. So I lost majority of my day. I had everything all rigged up, so I thought I'd go ahead and share with you guys how I attack that fall bite. All right guys, fall fishing is all about reaction baits. You know, shad have moved up shallow, bass will follow, they're aggressive, they're gonna feed up heavily for wintertime. I mean, you can get on some good bites in the fall. I like to stick to all shad type baits. Again, they're keyed in on those shad. You know, everything I throw resembles a shad. And I like to start off with top water. You know, I got a popper here. You know, if I have a nice calm day, calm conditions, if I get there early morning, late evening, if I can find some shade pockets, a popper is where it's at for me. Right here we have the, this one here is by Jekyll Baits. Check that out, guys. She did a killer job with this paint. Jekyll Bait Company, we've become friends. And guys, she gave me a code for you guys. I make nothing off this code. It's just a 15% off code for you guys to use all year long on any of the baits that she offers. Use code TJ81 to get 15% off. But again, like I said, she does a killer job there, guys. Definitely check her out. I'll link her down below. But a popper is what I'm going to start off with. Like I said, we have calm conditions. It's hard to beat a popper. We got that rigged up on the TCS jerkbait crankbait rod. TCS reel, that's in a 7.3. That's 12-pound Seagar Cinchi. That's my top water jerkbait setup. If we have some wind, we got a chop on the surface, I'm going to move to the buzzbait. Right here we have the Picasso Lures dinner bell. I caught a really nice one on this last night. I'll go ahead and put a picture on the screen right now for you guys. Picasso's dinner bell buzzbait. It's got a little tungsten clacker on there, and you can adjust that blade to either hit that little tungsten there or move it away. So it can either be louder or quieter, just depends on the conditions. But we got a white one there, again, 3/8 ounce. Again, try and find those active fish, early morning, evening time, shade pockets, whatever you can find. They'll hit that top water. But we got that on the TCS jig worm rod, which is a 7-foot heavy, moderate action to it. TCS reel, we got a 6/6-1 here. That's 15-pound Seagar Cinchi. Mono line, it's a floating line. Now with a buzzbait, you can get away with fluorocarbon because you're reeling it, but I throw some other top waters on this rod as well. So like I said, we got the mono on there. All right, the next rod, I don't have anything rigged up on this rod yet, but this is my follow-up rod. It's the TCS Martin APC, good all-purpose rod. It's a 6'9", moderate action to it. TCS reel, 15-pound Seagar InvisX. That is a 6/6-1. And normally, like I said, this is my follow-up rod. If I'm missing some fish on top water, I'll toss a fluke in there, Biospawn Exo Stick, either Texas rigged, wacky rigged, like I said, or have a fluke rigged up on this rod. Great for schooling fish, but like I said, either one of these will be up on this rod here. I believe again, I told you, yeah, 15-pound Seagar InvisX, which you'll hear 15-pound InvisX a lot on these rods. It's a smaller diameter line, so I can get away with a heavier pound test. So when I can, I'm going to use that heavier line just because the diameter is smaller. So like I said, 15-pound InvisX, 6'6'1", yeah, 6'9", Martin APC. All right. If I didn't do any good on top water, I'm moving right to the spinnerbait. Spinnerbaits, it's a bait I have tied on all year long. And if you guys would like to see a video on how I fish the spinnerbait, when, where, and all that, all the tips and tricks, I made a video on that. I'll link that down below. But it's hard to beat a spinnerbait in the fall. Obviously, it imitates shad. Got the Biospawn plasma tail on there as my trailer. It's one of my go-to trailers. That's on a 6'8" EVX Medium heavy, moderate action to it. Ceros reel, 6/6 to 1, 15 pound. That's Cigar Cinchi on there. Funny story about spinnerbaits. Last week I went to Kincaid Lake. First time I've ever been there with one of my buddies. We were on his boat and I was in back of the boat. And that water is a lot clearer than what I'm used to fishing. So I was a little bit out of my element there. And like I said, we were in some pretty clear water the first half of the day. I don't think I caught any fish yet. It was already 3-0 him. He was winning. Again, we're both throwing spinnerbaits, but he took me to some dirtier water. Guys, I was at home, man. I'm home! I'm home! Tell you what, by the time we left there, it was, I think, 12-4 me. So I won using the Picasso Inviswire spinnerbait in the back of his boat, both throwing spinnerbaits. But it was pretty cool, 12-4 on that Picasso there. But gotta have a spinnerbait, definitely in the fall. All right, if I'm not getting bit on the spinnerbait, again, I want that reaction type bait, a bait I can cover a lot of water with. I'm going to go to the swim jig. Picasso Lures here, swim jig, awesome detail on that head. Again, shad color. For trailers, I'll use either like a Vile Craw in that white silver flake. We have the Rage Menace on here. I'll use a grub, anything just to, resemble a shad. A little bit extra action there on the back. But I got that on a jig worm rod, same rod that I throw my buzzbait on. Jig worm rod, 7-foot heavy, moderate action. TCS reel in a 6/6. That is 15 pound Cigar Invis-X. Awesome combo here. Again, another bait here to cover water. If I'm not getting bit on the spinnerbait, not getting bit on the swim jig, we're going to go to the chatterbait. Got the Picasso shock blade. Really like these chatterbaits, guys. With a big issue with chatterbaits is the rise that they have. The shock blade here, it stays down in the water column. It does not have that rise issue. We got the black shad Kitech on there, 3.8, one of my go-to colors right there. And I guess it's a little more of a finesse approach. Like I said, if I'm not getting bit on the swim jig or the spinnerbait, I go to that little bitty chatterbait, smaller profile. This is on a TCS Martin APC, good all-purpose rod, 7-foot. I believe it's a medium heavy, moderate action to it. This is the Okuma Citrix and a 5/4. That's 12 pound Cigar Invis-X. Okay, if I'm not using the chatterbait on this rod, then I'll toss some sort of an underspin. I got one here from Gambler, the Picasso double barrel. These ones here are awesome. Again, put a little 3.8 Kitech on there and go to work. All right. From there, we're going to go just to the swim bait. Again, if I'm not getting bit on the spinnerbait, swim jig, chatterbait, we'll go just to a standalone swim bait here. 4.8 Kitech. Kitechs, Kitechs, and Kitechs. That's a 5/0 mustad hook. I believe that's an 1/8 ounce weight on there. Again, black shad, my go-to color. I got this rigged on the Frog swimbait rod. Now, normally I use this rod for pitching and flipping. I've never used it for swimbait, so I'm kind of pumped to check it out. But let's see here. 7.3, it's a faster action rod. TCS reel, that is 6/6 to 1. This is 15 pound Abraze-X. So I'm pretty pumped to check this rod out here with the swim baits. Like I said, normally I just pitch and flip with it. Great rod for that, and killer combo here, guys. All right, can't be fall, or can't be fishing in general if I don't have a square boat tied on. Normally I have a few of these tied on. You can see there, gizzard shad in the bait sack there. This rod actually I have not even used yet. They sent me this rod and one other rod the other day. This is the Okuma EVX. It's a full handle, full grip here, crankbait rod. It is a 7-foot, medium heavy, moderate action. It loads at 1/4, maxes out at 1 ounce. My other cranking rods load at 3/8, max out at 3/4. So this one loads a little bit lighter, can handle a little bit more. Looks like it's got a nice soft action to it. 5/4 Citrix on here. That is 12 pound Cigar Invis-X. I'll use this to crank some rock, obviously, some lay down stump, things like that. You know, again, just searching for those active fish. Then we got another cranking setup here. Crankbait, jerkbait rod, 7-foot medium plus. This is the normal, or the crankbait rod I use majority of the time. 3/8 to 3/4. Like I said, nice soft action to it. TCS reel, 15-pound, Seagar and VizX, 6/6 to 1. And I'll either put on like a DT6 or DT10, just depends how deep I find the fish. From there, we got a pitch and setup. This is the rod, again, I haven't used yet. This one and that EVX cranking rod. They just sent me these couple rods the other day. This one here is a 7'6" flipping jig rod. Okay. I believe this one is, it's a 7'6". It's a heavy. It's got a faster action to it. TCS reel, 15-pound, a BrazeX, 6/6 to 1. Helios TCS. And on here, we have Vile Craw, white silver flake. Again, I'm trying to imitate those shad. I'll pitch this around docks, lay down, stumps and all that. But it's got that nice kicking action, so as I'm reeling it back to the boat, there's a chance I could get hit there as well. So got 3/8 ounce flipping weight on there. That's a Picasso tungsten there. 4/0 mustad grip pin hook. So pretty pumped to play around with this setup here. It's nice too, this rod has a flipping guide. That's what they call that there. You know, when you flip, you grab the line, okay, by the reel here, you pull it through, you just kind of pitch your bait out, you let your line back in. Okay, sometimes by doing that, you can get your line wrapped around the handle and all that. So they have this guide here, so you can now grab the line above that guide. So when you pull it back, this line here is not getting wrapped around your handle, getting all tangled up. So that's a pretty cool feature on these rods. But again, that's a 7/6 heavy, faster action rod, TCS reel, 6/6 to 1, 15-pound BrazeX. So, guys, that's my combos to tackle the fall bite. So I didn't get out today. Later in the day now, I got a few other things I got to do, but now I'm rigged up for next week, and pretty much that's what I'm going to run with from now till winter time. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys learned something. Maybe you've seen a bait that you wouldn't normally use. Now you can try it out. Hopefully catch a few more fish. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, remember to smash that thumbs up button. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will talk to you soon.